Arsenal fans, how do you feel about the fact that Barcelona look like they're edging towards the signing of Nico Williams, the player that Arsenal and other clubs have been chasing now for some time? And it looks like, finally, we know now where Nico Williams will be playing football next season. Smash that like button, get your comments in. Arsenal fans, Barcelona fans, Chelsea fans were linked with Nico Williams as well. How does this news make you feel? Get us in the comments, please. David Ornstein tweeted 3 hours ago this morning, Arsenal and Chelsea cool Nico Williams' interest as Barcelona step up the pursuit, and Bayern Munich also consider the move. But FC Barcelona want to do the deal and it appeals to the 22-year-old, but it's complicated by the financial situation. FC Bayern made a contract offer and may improve it. So they're still in the race, but it does seem after Fabrizio Romano's tweet last night that it's Barcelona where he's bound. Let's go back and see this breaking news from last night as we were actually streaming on DR Sports. And the tweet is this: all clubs involved in the Nico Williams race are now aware of the player's desire. As reported on Sunday, he's giving priority to a Barca move. It now depends on the financial/technical decision to be made by Barca, but Nico has been clear Bayern are still intentioned to wait on that deal there. So listen, it's one that's probably going to cause quite a lot of frustration, especially with the Arsenal fans. Again, as I said, this is a player they have been chasing now for some time. And Nico Williams has been at the forefront of most people's transfer hit lists for some time as well. So how does this affect Arsenal, and who are the other options still available? Arsenal, as we know, have been linked with Antoine Semenyo, Rafael, Rashford, Grealish as well. But now it looks like, because Barcelona have moved ahead of Arsenal, Bayern Munich and Chelsea in the race to sign Nico Williams, the 22-year-old, the only thing that could potentially scupper this move now, and that's pretty much with every move that Barcelona try and make in the last few years, is those financial issues. Now, if we look at this from an Arsenal point of view, yes, we know Arsenal need a new striker. And the Gyökeres, the Sesko, the Ollie Watkins links are all still there, alive and kicking. But last season there was a big drop-off in form from Gabriel Martinelli on that left-hand side. The right-hand side is sorted. Bukayo Saka's there. Obviously, if he gets an injury, there's players that can drift out to that side as well. But Arsenal are looking to win the league, and they need to be signing players now that mean they contest for the league right up until the end point, but also they finish above, Liverpool, Manchester City. And if you look at the attacking options for Man City now, with Marmoush, Savinho, Doku, Shirky, Haaland, I mean, that's 5 names there that can interchange, and even with injuries, you'd think that 5 there can do well in the league and the cups. Liverpool at the minute: Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo, Diogo Jota, Darwin Núñez, Mo Salah and Federico Chiesa. That list is definitely going to change at some point in this transfer window. I'm assuming that Darwin Núñez at least will leave. But they're the kind of attacking lineups that you're facing as an Arsenal fan. You're looking to beat those attacking lineups. Even Chelsea, they're probably going to get Kudus in. They've just got Liam Delap, Nico Jackson, Pedro Neto, plus others, Madueke as well. And Arsenal, because of the lack of goals, did not win the Premier League last season. And who can you blame that on? Is it the lack of buying a striker? That's definitely an option. Did the forward players just have a massive dip in form? I'm looking at Martinelli. Obviously, Marino came in and played his part excellently. But the injuries to Havertz and the lack of form for Martinelli, Trossard was in and out of form. It equals a second-place finish again. So how do Arsenal fans feel about this move? Barcelona look like they are going to get Nico Williams. He wants to go there. Obviously, he did sign a new deal with Athletic Club earlier on this year, which allows for them to recoup and obviously get a high fee, which Barcelona will be struggling to pay because of their financial issues. But if the player wants to go there, after that, there's not much more anyone else can do. We've seen with Florian Wirtz, which is actually the correct way to pronounce it. I was in Holland at the weekend and some German lads told me it's Wirtz. And I actually forgot to put him in the 6 there that Liverpool have in their attacking lineup. But these are the teams that you're trying to beat, right? And Arsenal, who do you look to now? Now that Nico Williams has chosen Barcelona, yes, they've got to stump up the money, but he's chosen them. So once that happens, you're pretty much out the race. Bayern Munich, we know, have been looking for an attacking midfielder. They were interested in Wirtz. But now Arsenal fans, because Nico Williams is going to go probably and eventually to Barcelona, is it Rafa Leão you're looking at? Is it Rodrigo, who again has been mentioned? Again, that's a bit of a techie one. It's going to cost you 90 mil probably to tempt him away from Real Madrid. And if I'm honest, if I was Rodrigo, I'd stay at Real Madrid. You know, you're pretty much guaranteed a trophy there, at least one every season. So if he's not very realistic, Rodrigo, then what are your options after that? Now, Arsenal fans, as you know, I'm not an Arsenal fan, but get in the comments right now and leave in your top 2 or 3 top transfer targets for that left wing. And that's excluding the Seskos, the Gyökereses, the Ollie Watkins. Let's go through these names and rate their probability. For me, Rodrigo, as I said, is just not going to happen. I think Arsenal, if they are spending 80 or 90 million on an attacking player, the priority definitely should be and will be a number 9. Yeah, they've got options, as I mentioned, a couple, but it's not really deep in that forward line for Arsenal. So Rafa Leão, how realistic is that? AC Milan going through a lot of changes at the minute, just employed a new manager. You know, in and out of the Portugal squad, Rafa Leão doesn't necessarily start every game. But is that a player that you'd like? If I'm honest, out of all of these names, I'd still prefer Nico Williams because of the age there as well. But Rafa Leão is an option. Is Marcus Rashford an option for Arsenal? He'll be looking to leave Manchester United in the summer, most likely on loan, because of the fact that not many clubs out there can afford his wages. You'd be looking at a 50-50 split. But don't also forget, Manchester United and Arsenal are still big rivals, right, historically. And they'll be looking to finish a lot higher than they did last season. So would loaning out Rashford to Arsenal make sense? You know, from a rival standpoint for Manchester United, let us know. Jack Grealish, again, astronomical wages at Manchester City, came in for 100 million 3 or 4 years ago. It's probably harsh to say it hasn't worked out for him, but at the same time, he's been so bereft of confidence and form that he's now looking at his options. He's not in the the Club World Cup squad either. And Antoine Semenyo, now, if you're a Bournemouth fan, I feel sorry for you. Not too sorry, because you're going to get great money for the likes of Kirkes, the likes of Patrick Kluivert if he finally leaves, the likes of Semenyo. PSG have also just nicked a player off them as well. And Areola will have some job to do in terms of bringing back those core players that allowed Bournemouth to have such a great season. And Semenyo was definitely part of that. I remember he scored against Liverpool. So Antoine Semenyo, how much would he be? If I was an Arsenal fan, I'd almost want Arsenal to sign like a £50 million winger, so you've still got money in the bank there for the 60, 70, 80 that you would need for a Sesko or a Gyökeres. So the Semenyo one to me probably makes the most sense. Premier League proven, won't be on as big a wages as Grealish, Rashford or Leão. So Arsenal fans, how does this affect you? You know, is this name, Nico Williams, was it at the top of your transfer list before this season? Now it looks like he's going to Barcelona. And also, Barcelona fans, how does Nico Williams fit into the plan? Obviously, you've got Rafinha, Lewandowski, Lamine Yamal on that right-hand side, but on the left-hand side, the position of Nico Williams, Rafinha's done an incredible job this season. So it gives them more depth, it gives them more options, especially to go a little bit further in the Champions League. That's the main one that they're after they have won the league this season. So yes, it's been a great season domestically for Barcelona. They've beaten Real Madrid how many times? But their target has to now be the Champions League, as is Liverpool's, if I'm honest. But Nico Williams, where does he fit into that squad? Who does he necessarily replace? And is it a good signing for Barcelona? And are there any Barcelona fans out there that are actually a little bit scared that this won't get over the line because of the aforementioned financial issues that could scupper the move for the Spain international, who is very close on a personal level with Lamine Yamal? Both play for Spain, so it would be a good green line chemistry, if you want to call it that. So Nico Williams to Barca, not to Arsenal, not to Chelsea, not to Bayern Munich. He has chosen the Catalan club. So Arsenal fans, how do you feel about that? And who else should Arsenal be going for? Also, just quickly on a story that broke this morning, David Moyes approving Kyle Walker as an ideal target for Everton, with plans and talks underway for the right back. It would be a 1-year loan. Again, astronomical wages at Manchester City. Hasn't worked out for him at all at AC Milan, and he will be coming back to the UK. But it's where? Because he has already had an option with Fenerbahce. They've been on the phone, and they're offering a similar sort of deal to Everton. But listen, Kyle Walker to Everton is seen as an ideal target, according to David Moyes, and they will be playing in that new stadium, won't they? So let us know, how do you feel about Kyle Walker going to Everton? Just a quick update on the Brian Mbeumo story. And the 25-year-old, as we know, is leaning towards a move to Manchester United over Tottenham, despite his former manager Thomas Frank joining Tottenham Hotspur, and they have put that bid down. And I would think, as a player who's played for how many years under Thomas Frank, that would be a no-brainer to just follow him naturally to Tottenham. But if he's already had his eyes set on Manchester United, it would be difficult to persuade him otherwise. So Brian Mbeumo, where does he end up? Right, that's your bite-sized transfer update for this morning on DR Sports. We're going to be back live on DR Sports at 5 o'clock today with some more transfer news, and any updates that happen throughout the day, they will be noted and we will be delivering them to you later on this evening. So stay tuned for that. But this chat is all about Nico Williams. Where does the 22-year-old winger end up? It looks like it's going to be Barca, but Arsenal fans, how do you feel about that? And which transfer target should Arsenal now turn to improve that left-hand sided attack? Smash that like button, get your comments in, and we'll see you later. Take care.